see if the ladies come back. We back. Girl, I was talking away. It must have when my phone jumped off the, I guess it came off the, I lost connection. I guess when it came back, you couldn't hear anymore. And oh man, was I preaching. I was salty. Y'all probably ain't heard nothing from I don't know when. Man, I was good. I was breaking it down, Veros. Girl, I was in marriage counseling mode. That is too funny. Boy, all that was good. Did you hear anything I said after you had said that y'all stand together and all that stuff? I'm still tripping, man. And that live was going in. I had a flow and a rhythm. Internet won't let me be green. I got about 4 hours of driving left. It's crazy. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it must have clicked out after it had blanked out for a minute. And I realized that I wasn't on anymore when I seen Faith Keeper say, "Is the live still going?" So I could see y'all comments, but y'all couldn't hear me. That don't make no sense. Anywho, fast recap. I was just saying how um, marriage is hard work, and that's good that y'all stick together. As long as God is your foundation, it'll be all right. And how in my life I used to say I want to be shit, and as long as can you hear me? Because it did it again. Can you still hear me? I ain't got time to try to go to what you call it, uh, StreamYard. B Rose, can you hear me? Oh, I need a sound check. Anybody in here? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, the last time it clicked out for a minute. I just turned off my Wi-Fi to see if that'll help. But I'm like going through North Carolina, so it's just like a lot of trees. I'm not in the boonies, but it's still a lot of trees. You know how that goes. Hey, draw five guy. But yeah, I was just saying like how she said I couldn't be a counselor or whatever, and I said I can as long as I'm giving advice that doesn't turn that situation against God. As long as it's aligned with what God says, and I got to talking about keeping the foundation that He set for marriage, with it being God, Jesus, husband, wife. And what happens is a lot of times we get out of order as human beings, especially wives. We like to, because I think it's almost like because we help the man bring his vision together, sometimes we foresee things before they do. So in that, your natural nurturing instinct wants to jump in. And we ain't supposed to do that. You know what I mean? We're supposed to kind of guide and still stay in that posture where we're supposed to be without overstepping or trying to come into the husband space. And I think because people don't build on their relationship, I don't know. It's like you gotta be friends. So it's like if y'all ain't friends, start becoming friends. You know what I mean? I think it's important that couples date. I think it's important that couples continue to get to know each other because we are constantly changing. With age. God bless you too, baby. With age, we grow, we learn things. You become better in a lot of ways. Sometimes you figure out the things that you don't need to be anymore. So, when people say, "Oh, we grew apart," I don't think people grow apart. I think people change as a natural process, and we forget to take that person into the change with us. They are a part of you, so therefore, when I change, you change. Honey, I was thinking, I used to do this, but I don't like that anymore. How about we try this? But I just think it's that order thing, and we see women all the time. We know we live in the I am woman everywhere era in this life. Anything a man can do, I can do better. I don't need a man for nothing. I make 6 figures and all that good stuff we be saying foolishly, not realizing being a weaker vessel is a strength. You know what I'm saying? Being a Proverbs 31 woman is a strength. And when we give the enemy the power to take that strength away from us, then things are haywire. Yeah, we are flesh and bone. So when it's I don't think so. There's a couple of people here. Sometimes people be here and I don't see it, but I'm gonna keep talking. um, when flesh and blood is in natural order, of course we're defensive, we're combative, we're wanting to say, look, I understand, I know, but sometimes we have to let things play out. And I think that's where the growth comes from, allowing things to play out, processing it, but also processing it not just by ourselves, but with our partner. And then sometimes the men really don't be knowing that too. So we got to give them grace and try to, like, in my mind, like with my situation, my significant other, I just include him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if I had the greatest revelation in the world, I'm gonna make it into a conversation. I'm not gonna be like, you know what, this is this and this is that. I'm like, I was at work and I kept thinking today, and this is what I was thinking. My name is Meek. This is what I was thinking. And so it becomes a conversation. I include him with what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I've had an aha moment about. Or if it's something that I see that he's doing that isn't necessarily right, I make sure I'm not talking at him as if a person that knows everything, because I don't. And just because I know something a different way than he does doesn't mean it's necessarily right. Or maybe he only needs part of that. So it's in the communication. Once we stop communicating, now we speculating and guessing and being what's the word I'm looking for? Analytical. We're being over analytical, and that's not good either. That leads into overthinking. And when we overthink, what happens is we build like 50 scenarios in our head. Hey, atmosphere guy, how you doing? When we build those scenarios in our mind, now we're creating all this extra stress on top of the one little hiccup we're having together, and now it's something else. I think that making sure you always love and honor your spouse, remembering the order that God set forth for marriage, respecting each other, and keeping that communication going. Keeping that communication going. Rose got me cracking up. Rose, that's my V Rose. V Rose, I found a new church. I have found another church. It's nice. You welcome, my love. That's just what I felt led to say. You know me, I don't talk about it. Yeah, I found a church. Cause yeah, I was going to church here. There wasn't nothing wrong with the church. It just moved, and when they moved, it ain't that far, but in Virginia, it's like tunnels and stuff, and I don't have the passage yet, and it adds up. But I can get there not going through the tunnel too. But it just takes too longer. Anyway, um, before that, I was following Philip Mitchell. I would watch him on Sunday because he's a pretty dope pastor. And I one day I was watching it. He just was like, "Everyone in Norfolk, if you're watching this, make this your last day watching this broadcast." I'm looking like, what? Why? It's like they're gonna have their first affiliate church in Norfolk, Virginia. So I'm like, what? We getting a 2819? But I've been visiting for like the last month, and it's so far so good. It's straight biblical. Everybody's kind. It makes me, when I go, I want to be a part. You know what I mean? And that's very important for me because, yeah, I don't want to go to a church I don't feel included or no one treats me kind. And then the funny part about it is they are actually meeting in the exact same building of the other church I used to go to. I'm like, oh, this is a full circle moment. But they're going to outgrow that spot. There ain't no way. So that's one thing I've been excited about here recently is getting back grounded. Gary here. Hey, Gary. Look, you're the first person I brought up after V Rose popped in. I said, where is Gary? I know he'll pop in here. I'm going to Charleston, Gary. I'm going down to visit and do some hair. Make me a little braid. Because I need a little break. So it's like doing everything all together. Business and leisure. I ain't even gonna call it pleasure. Time, but this is my first time y'all leaving my honey like longer than. Only time I ever left him was going to see Chris Brown last year, and that was only like a day trip. You know what I mean? So I was like a day and a half, 2 days, max, whatever. How they went. Yeah, 2 days. So I'm gonna be gone 4 days. Because I'm in the car, no specific reason. And you know they be kind of funny on here, so. Other than that, I would have been on. My hair is cut. I'm clean. I'm cute. Maybe if you come back another time, I'll be on. I'll probably be going live while I'm in this, because I'm going to work in this young lady's shop while I'm here. I might go live again sometime. I don't know. I'll be live on here or TikTok. I don't know. One or the other. Probably both. I'll be here 4 days. I'm sure, yeah, 4 days today. I go back home Tuesday. Unless I get a bunch of people trying to get their hair done. Yeah, I'll be here the Tuesday morning, Gary. That's when I leave back out. I start working in the shop tomorrow. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'll be doing hair. And yeah, that's what I came to do. Everybody been asking. I tried this in April, but nobody bid. They talk a good talk, but then nobody paid them deposits. But yeah, they done. Everybody but one person paid a deposit, and I think she didn't pay because she think she got it like that. But she doesn't understand her deposit was due this past Monday, and she no longer has an appointment. So I hope she didn't take her weave out her head. I am very firm on that because the deposit was you saying, I need you to come, I want you to come, and here's a little bit of gas money, or, something like that. So if you couldn't do that, I can't do your hair. No. And I got to stand firm on it because everybody else pays, so it wouldn't be fair. Who? No, V Rose did, not me, Gary. We was having a conversation about the order that God for marriage. Just a little encouragement for how to navigate when we have those sticky times, in relationships. Because it ain't a cakewalk, you know what I mean? But they say anything worth having is worth fighting for. So we need to figure out who we fight, you know what I mean? Who we fight. I have 2 grown children. Figure out who we fight. We don't fight our spouse, we fight the devil. This is how I fight my battles. Y'all already know when I start driving, I think I can sing. Well, Gary, no, B Rose wasn't here when we was coming up this road. All right, the cool draw guy. Draw 5. I'm gonna call you bad. You might not see me a lot, but I'll be here sometime. Yeah, Gary done took all the trips with me. Gary done been to Atlanta, Virginia a couple times. We be rolling. We be rolling. Yes, I've been doing good though, and we'll see, Gary. He know what it's gonna take. So, and like I told her, I said I ain't married, but might as well be, huh? When you start acting married and living like a married couple, then I feel like God doesn't see it another way. You know what I mean? We in the world, we have a ceremony, we get a license, but in the Bible, you know what happened, and you was married. That's why He asked the old girl at the well, you have 5 husbands, and the one you're with right now isn't your husband. So yeah, there's a contract. It sure is. It is not with a seal from the state. That contract was left on the sheet. What's wrong with me? But it was, you know what I'm saying? So that's the best way to really, really think about it. When we be like, oh, I ain't married, but every time you link like that, God, He sees those acts as between a husband and a wife. He don't be like, oh, they ain't married. No, you done married everybody. You done, mm-mm. That's what a lot of older people believe, that if you know you're going to be with that person, then everything's good. I don't know if I believe that theory, like far as being in right standing with God, far as the things that we're not supposed to do, like, adultery, fornication, and all that good stuff. Lying, stealing, cheating, sinning. Like I said, older people have a different ideology. I mean, and technically, I guess we all do, especially if you have a child and you ain't married to that person. So, thank God for His grace and mercy. That's what I do say. Gary, what about you? You walked down the aisle or went to the justice? We know At was in here, but we know he did. Look at all of us growing up. No, I'm just kidding. We all growing up online. I don't even be on YouTube a lot because y'all know I worked hard to get out of the one sector, like to change my algorithm. Now I'm stuck in another one. I keep seeing Blueface. I don't want to watch him. But that's what I get for always following. Never mind, I gotta work my way out. Yeah, big battle. Because, I mean, I guess it's human nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, you create us this way, but then if we be that way, we're supposed to get in trouble. I don't know. The way I look at it now is you just wanna have it to where forget the world. I want God to look at my union and bless it. You know what I mean? Like I posed the question to Him like earlier on in our relationship, like maybe like a year and a half in. If that, I think we were still in our first place. So yeah, it was probably before that. But the question was, do you think God blesses us. And he thought about it. And his answer was yes. And my answer was, I think he blesses us individually. And I think he gives us grace together. So therefore, with that grace, what do you do? Do you take advantage of it for as long as you can, or do you use that and say, you know what? You've been giving me grace this long, I gotta do. And I think that's what my mindset is now. Like, I'm not comfortable just keep on riding off God's grace. So it's like, okay, we gotta get married or we gotta separate. That's it. And I know he don't want to separate, but I don't know. I want to get married, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, decisions. And that's valid, Gary, for real, for real. That's what we gotta do. I took a lot of time, and that's why I say I'm not. Although I would like to be married, I'm not in a hurry. And it's not necessarily just because imperfections, but I want to do it once. You know what I mean? So if there is something else that I need to get right, get tight before then, I will allow this opportunity for those things to make those things happen. Um, and at the same time, being honest with my partner, about what I want, what I need, what I expect in our union when it comes to that. I believe that if you like say you with a person, if you are hey Umar, if you are with somebody and let's say there's something about that person and you're like, I can't deal with that. A lot of people will say they can't deal with something, but they won't break up with that person. But it's like, okay, you're going to stay with this person and deal with this. I'm not going to marry him, but I'm going to stay with him. I feel like if you're not going to marry him with that situation, you shouldn't stay with them in that situation. If you're not going to voice that to them as something that you need to see a difference in. You know what I mean? I need to see a change in this area so that we can progress to the next phase. Because I'm like, if I accept something, um, no, I can't mind you, honey. I don't know you. If I accept something, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, whatever you can think of, like something, some kind of flaw. If I can accept, okay, yeah, let's. Just because you said money, I mean, can somebody do something with that? Um, let's say you didn't have a job. I'm with you because I know you got some kind of plan on the table, and we good, and you're doing your bare minimum to change that situation. Now somebody might stay with that person doing bare minimum to change that situation, but then they'll say, I ain't marrying him unless he get a job or unless he get a better job. But look at it from a standpoint of somebody that says, you know what, he trying, I'm gonna marry him anyway. And he'll get the job. I feel like once you marry that person that's actively doing something you don't condone or want to deal with or accept, marriage is a covenant. So if I come in covenant with you, I come in covenant with everything attached to you, including things that I don't like. So why, hey Ryder, why would I come in covenant with somebody that has something that I know I don't like and then expect for them to change it they don't like about them? Can y'all hear me? I just blinked out again. Let me know. If I'd have been thinking about it, I would have been on. Okay. Yeah, the last time we blinked out, it took everything. I was just, man, I was gone, Gary. You know how it be when you just done got into a hole 30-minute sermon and wasn't nobody even hearing me. Church was almost over before I remembered, before I knew the members hadn't came in. I was about to do the benediction. But yeah, so it's like that's my thing. I don't want to, like, I'm very vocal with what I like, what I don't like, what I think should be worked on, and I'm open to hearing those things about myself. And I would rather change those things before I get married than to marry somebody and then have that person or even myself throw it in their face because they didn't change it after we got married. You know what I mean? And I think that'd be a lot of people's thing too. We marry the idea or the fantasy of or the, you know, they say like potential. You know, the older people telling them marry somebody you don't love, you'll learn to love them. Hell no, I'm not marrying somebody I don't love. I gotta strongly like you at least. I don't know. I don't know where those old people concept. They used to tell you, or they'll tell you, marry the one that loves you. But what if this man loved 3 people and I happen to be one of them? I'm supposed to marry him loving 2 other people? No. I think old people be having a weird way of thinking, but those people are the same people that had families 2 blocks over, and their wife knew it, and they never left the man. I don't want to be her. So let's work out all our kinks. Let's see what's going to make us stronger. I think that if we are willing to change those little things, it will make us stronger when we're together versus getting together and then it turns into something else that it, you know, like right now it might just be understanding and you know you got to do this. But once we get married, yeah, I need for to be in order. I want to go up. You know, once I get married, it's up. And I want to be stuck. Up meaning we build together, we grow together, we collecting assets, we building wealth. I want to do all that stuff in my marriage. So I need both of us to be the best versions of ourselves with the understanding that we're continuing to grow, but now we're growing together. Because I think when we become married, we become one, but we're still individuals at the same time. Because I feel like I have a sole purpose for myself, for my life, for my walk. But once I become married, we have a purpose as well. That's why I say I wouldn't want to be with somebody that I'm not trying to change you per se. The only changes I want you to make is those that will honor God for us together. You know, I'm blessed, you blessed, when you blessed, I'm blessed. So yeah, those changes. Yeah. At the end of the day, Gary, it's all about getting better, you know, and the best way of doing that is when you know you need to be better. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing like recognizing yourself, you know, when you can look in the mirror and not say, oh, if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be this way. Or, you know, understanding like, yeah, it may be some residue or a result of somebody else, but I still play a part no matter what. Even when it's not my fault, what do I need to do? That'll save a lot of people some headaches that are waiting for apologies from people that probably never get them or probably don't even know they got an issue with them. If you're not willing to go to a person and let them know, hey, this is what you did and this is how it makes me feel, then you need to be ready not to ever have an apology. You got to make resolve in yourself. What do I need to change not to have this happen to me again? What do I need to change to be better in my next relationship? It ain't about the other person. What do I need to do to have a successful marriage? What do I need to do to have a successful business? What do I need to do, you know, to be a better mother, father? Whatever you need to do or change, what do I need to do? Might as well, ain't no need of pointing the finger at somebody else, even if it's their fault. What do I need to change so this don't happen again? Or I'll fall victim to something that somebody's going to do to me. You know, everything on YouTube. On YouTube, that's a big word. Somebody needs to hold you accountable. yourself. When we hold ourselves accountable, the growth is like, man, you can't, ain't nothing that matches that. Self-actuality and being accountable for yourself, all your actions, the good, bad, and the ugly. You don't need nobody to tell you this because you already know it. You accept it, acknowledge it, and you're changing it. I don't have to change for you because I'm going to change for me. You know, that type of thing. Can y'all hear me still? Whew. I just want to know what's the first thing I want to eat when I get to Charleston. Suddenly, that's what I want to know. Yeah, work on yourself. Okay. Here comes road construction. I don't even know where I'm at. I guess I'm getting towards Florence, North Carolina. This is where you can get them dang on tickets that be taken by the camera. And you don't know you got a ticket until you get it in the mail. This is not good. I don't want to be caught in. I'm almost at the south of the border, I guess, somewhere. I'm so excited to see my nephew. I'm telling you, my sister told him I was coming, and he just started saying, "Oh yes, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus." I was like, "Oh, listen to my little." I was pouring in that baby when he was like 4, 5, 6. He 14 now, about to be 14. Hey, and I was telling a young lady on TikTok. She was talking about how her son had just randomly called her, like he wanted to go to church, and his teacher had given him a Bible, and she was just saying how proud she was, and she's like, "I'm trying not to cry," you know, and I was just saying like, I got to see. Wait a minute, y'all. How it's such a reward when is this thing taking me on a detour? It's such a reward when you see. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. When you see your efforts, like what you have instilled in your child, play out before you. When you think your child didn't hear you or not listening or paying attention, when you finally get to see the benefit of seeing that it has actually worked, and then not to mention to see your child um, coming into his own understanding about his relationship with God, and she was just talking about how he wanted to stay after they had found the church right across from their house, and he wanted to go up and talk to the pastors and all that stuff. I'm like, that is such an awesome testimony to be able to share. I always say that about my own children. When they talk, sometimes I be like, wow, I remember we had this conversation when he was 13. They listen. We listen. We know that as children. We might not have did everything our parents told us to do, but in the back of your mind, that stuff still be there. I think that's why sometimes when you become a parent yourself and you have those moments, you be like, man, I sound just like my mother, or I sound like my daddy. I think that's where that comes from. Because in the back of your mind, you still have those teachings. Even if you don't think you did, you have those teachings. So it's always awesome just to be able to just pull from life and grow in all areas. You know what I'm saying? We pull from all relationships, our romantic relationships, our parent, mother, father, child relationships, our work relationships. Pull on all of them. Like I think I'm in the season of, like I said, we hold ourselves accountable, but that type of accountability where let's say you and your friend been talking about something for a while, and they've been expressing things they're wanting to do and trying to do. But then y'all talking and you hear them talking about something that's going to go directly against what they've said. I'm in the season of saying, hey, you remember you said this. Now, you know you probably shouldn't do that. That's where I'm at. Now, if you listen once I say it, you can't never say I didn't told you so. But, I think that's when you're supposed to be holding people accountable. Not when you just don't agree with what they say or do, but when they've expressed, I want to be better in this area and I want to do this, or I want to try to start saving, or whatever the case may be, and then they start talking about doing something else, you're like, hey, I thought you said. Remember, don't forget you said. That's, man, and I hope my friends do it for me. That's a friend. Tell me the truth. Stop me. Or try to stop me. Because at the end of the day, we're going to do what we want to do. But, I'm all for that, Gary, though. Get right, get tight. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. What better way to find a good wife is to build yourself up. You know what I mean? Or allow God to do the work, building you up, so that you're even, like, I look at it like this, okay? We say that, oh, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. We say that like, if he find me, but I'm like this. Can y'all hear me? My phone just rang. The further you are from Christ, the further it is for him to find you. And the further you are from being a complete, like, I feel like we are a husband and a wife before we get married. We should be. So therefore, the further you are away from being a good husband to a woman, the further you are from finding her. So it's not just a one-sided thing. It goes both ways. In preparation, I'm getting stronger in my faith. I'm getting better in the areas where I'm weak. I'm preparing myself. I'm becoming a wife before I come into that man, as it should be for a husband. He finds a wife. He doesn't find the girlfriend and make her his wife. You become his favor. How? By being sure that you are a wife ahead of time. I think a long time ago there was a sermon, Juanita Bynum, and she was talking about how you want to be a wife and you still ain't cooking and all this stuff. A lot of people, it's cool if you don't cook, and y'all had that understanding. I like to cook. But in the sermon, she went on to talk about how, which is probably one of the last times I listened to her. But Gary, sound check. Can you hear me? Because my phone been ringing. So when you're in a relationship, talking about you want to be a wife, but your husband in the bathroom and he got to yell out to you for some tissue, but you got to go down to the corner store and get some tissue. Or if you're in the shower and you need some soap, you got to go out. We ain't even stocking our homes to take care of our home, but we were talking about being a husband or a wife. All that good stuff. So I think all that plays a part in becoming a better person, period. Not just for marriage, but for ourselves, for our longevity, for our success. We become a better person for our success, and that just so happens to include a marriage, a business, or whatever the case may be. Any endeavor that we come into for life, we need to be our best to be successful in all areas. All areas. And in other news, I quit Amazon finally after I toiled with it for about 4 months. I just didn't know. I think it became a crutch because that was my number one source for money. I don't know if y'all can hear me and I'm still talking. Does anybody let me know? Maybe I can't see comments. I don't know. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see you. Ooh, that big old truck in this, what you call it? Construction zones are horrid. I feel like I'm driving to Hampton. Such a stressful ride. Okay, okay. I'm just making sure, because like I said, when my phone was ringing or if it clicked out, the last time we was off the grid. But yeah, I quit my Amazon job. So the biggest thing with that was because when I first got to Virginia, that was my source of income mainly. Some of y'all was there when I was DoorDashing before I even started working at Amazon. But now I look at it, man. Sometimes you're able to, y'all ever just reflected on life and just see so much, like wow. Um, Gary was here when I was going, like moving here before I left. I think he came when I moved. Was you still here? Was you here, Gary, when I was still at the house in Charleston, or did you come in when I moved? At any rate, I oh yeah, you was there because that's how you get. Lord have mercy, Jesus. That's where Busted Down Gary Brown came from. I'm tripping. Anyway, I almost forgot. I need to call Watermelon. But anyway, um, that job. Okay, I've been a hairstylist for about 31 years now, professionally. I started styling hair when I was like 13 years old. So that's basically all I've known. The last job I had, I probably was 23. I am 53, so go figure. Um, when I moved to Norfolk, I had to get a job because I have to maintain, right? So, but I had a couple of months before I started working at Amazon, so I was doing a little DoorDash, whatever. So, working at Amazon, I started off full time, 40 hours, 4 days a week, 7 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. That right there was an accomplishment. The fact that I actually clocked in somewhere and stayed and didn't leave at lunchtime. Then on the other side of that, I worked overnight. I never worked a third shift job a day in my life. So having to do something is different than wanting or not wanting. I can't not want to do it. I have to do it. So I was able to do that. Then I was able to switch after like 9 months to the shift where I picked my own schedule. Downside of that, no benefits. But upside, I could create my own schedule and build my clientele at the same time. So with that being said, I'm glad that I didn't get that shift where I could pick my own schedule first, because I would have been messed up because I wouldn't have been working like I was. Because I was doing 40 hours, sometimes close to 60. I was doing overtime and everything. Proud of myself, pat me on the back. So here we are, almost 3 years in. I'm still doing my flex, but I'm going less and less. When I left the first salon I was working in and went to the suite, my mindset was I got 6 clients, maybe. Push come to shove, I paid my booth rent out of Amazon check. What was that? January 2024. I didn't want to use Amazon money to pay my booth rent. My clientele was growing, but it wasn't all like that. But that's what God helps you. He will provide, whatever the case may be. Um, keep going, keep going. I left there. I went into a new suite, and what this new suite entailed was a little bit less space and $50 more a week. Okay, once again, well, first I say I'm gonna keep the Amazon job because home was different. He had a different job, so I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to stay. I wanted to quit. Every time I thought I was gonna quit, I would have a reason to stay. So now I'm in a new suite, loving it. Everybody loves it. The biggest problem I got with this suite right now is I'm going to grow out of it. So it's like in this year, because I gotta be there a year. In this year, I gotta figure out my next move. But once again, I'm gonna say, well, $50 more. Worst case scenario, I go to Amazon for a day. I get that $50. Yeah, I started going to Amazon. I hadn't been to Amazon like 5 weeks. We got a point system. If you get 8 points, you get fired. I had 6. So I'm like, all right, next week 2 points will fall off. I'll be good if I don't go this week. I was like gambling my points, not going to the job. So now what is that saying? I'm making money and I'm not having the, I keep saying I can use Amazon for this, but therefore, but I'm still not going to Amazon. So what am I talking about? So now I realize this job is more of a almost like a sentimental connection. I didn't want to let it go because I was so proud that I did it. You know what I mean? And so I was conflicted. Like, should I quit now? When am I supposed to quit? I would do things like, God, if I'm supposed to quit this job, let me get 3 new clients booked before, let me get this many clients by Wednesday, and just to confirm it, this many more by Saturday. And then I'll say, watch him do it, but it ain't gonna be nothing like what I said, but it's gonna be exactly what I said. And what'll happen by Saturday, I have the amount of clients that I had said. Hey, Toby. Okay, how you doing? I remember from the other day. So here I am with this job, booming. I ain't where I'm supposed to. Where I want to be yet with my clientele, but it's growing. And some of y'all remember I've been saying I'm trying to get the consistency. So the consistency has been better since I moved to this other place, and I think too is I'm actually marketing, promoting a little more. So here we go. I said, well, let me see what I need to do to quit this job. So I'm going through the little app and I find where how you resign. So I'm pushing, how you go through the steps just to see what you got to do, what it says when you. So I get to the thing and it's like, what day do you want to stop working? This was like June 18th. Said, what day you want to be your last day? I say June 19th. And I hit submit and I was just sitting there like, I just quit. And that's how I quit my Amazon job. I just quit. Because I think if I didn't do it like that, I would still be having the same argument with myself right now. And after I quit, I was okay. But they say it was well with my soul. It was well with my soul. I quit the job and I started to reflect. Man, I've been doing here 31 years. The first time I had an extra job or a different kind of job was when I worked at Amazon 30 years later. I done had very many ups and downs in the hair industry because any kind of business, if you're an entrepreneur, there's ups and downs, there's slows, there's wins, there's losses, there's all types of things. So even through all the ups and downs, I've watched so many stylists be like, I had to get a second job, I had to do this, I had to do that. And I never did it, but I never failed. You know what I'm saying? I never took on another job. Although I had thought about it, I just didn't do it. Well, DoorDash, that's the most. But then like I said, I began to reflect, and I'm like, man, I've been doing this a long time, and the fact that I didn't have to pick up a job is a blessing, right? And I'm like, the only thing I can think that is like, I would say is like a dang about it is not understanding how to establish myself financially. That's the only downside I have to that. But ain't no time like the present, right? It's just like, man, I've been going this long without having to do this or that. I didn't know what to do with money, most of them years. I didn't know what to do with money. That's an honest reflection right there. I had no idea what to do with money besides pay your bills and spend it. I knew to save it, but I didn't. You know what I mean? That's like transparency. I knew to save money, but I didn't. But I didn't know nothing about investing. I didn't know nothing about no stocks, no IRAs, and all that stuff. I ain't know none of that. So I'm gonna say it's bittersweet, but mostly sweet. But I know things now that I can now do to, reap the benefits for the rest of my life. I don't think there's any mistake in it. It's just that, we are all ignorant to a fault to a lot of things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just sometimes it's just a generational thing. You don't know. Sometimes we don't know past what we learned growing up. And it ain't that our parents teach us wrong, it's that they teach us what they do. They teach us what they know. So, like I said, I reflect and I thought about it. I'm like, man, I'm in Virginia, brand new here, headed on 3 years. I'm building clientele. I'm making it. And just to solidify that, we had another income shift in the household, like a switch of a job. And that right there let me know for sure. It let me see. You know how sometimes you got to see something to understand it or to believe it? It let me see. Because I'm like, here I am doing everything I want to do, maintaining, holding it down, and I'm good. You know what I mean? Ain't no struggle, ain't no suffering. I'm just working on the overflow now. You know what I mean? Getting to that place where you just like, man, you ain't got to give me millions, give me stability and comfort. And if God want to bless me with millions, if that's the stability and comfort He see fit for me, then that's what He see fit. But now I think I have like dreams I didn't have before. I didn't really. I was in and out of the dream of buying a home. Now I'm back in that dream, like I think I want a house. But I think that I look at my counterparts, other stylists, and not in a way where I'm like, dang, I want that, or in an envious way. In a way, it's almost like a aha. Okay, here's this stylist that's just like me. We do the same thing. Probably been in the business same amount of years. And they may be online driving through their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So you seeing the houses in the background, like, why not me? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't think about something until you see a picture of something. So it's almost like looking at yourself driving into this neighborhood and then driving through your actual neighborhood. Now, I'm not saying my neighborhood is horrible. What I'm saying is, I think I used to always say on here, what we can always say, I want this, I want that. But what God has for us is so much bigger. So it's like reminding myself not to think so small, you know what I mean? But hey, Riaz, how you doing? But think greater, you know what I mean? Greater than I can understand, greater than can be explained. That's the way we need to think about our life. Don't down it. Think above. You know, think further, higher, more. We don't think on the level of abundance most of the time, but that's what He says He wants to bless us with. We don't think our abundance is so basic. I need to speak an abundant life over myself. That sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Like, girl, please, that is not possible. Yes, it is. Faith, size of a mustard seed. It is very possible. Anything is possible. Y'all remember that? Kevin Garnett. I would never forget I had a crush on him. Ew, my God. In heaven. What was I thinking? That man is not cute. So, other than that, life is good. I always come on here every, 3 months and do a little catch up. Once every 3 months. It's all good, though. I love seeing my same little crew pull up. I love them to life. Yes, I do. Love them to life. Gotta make sure everybody all right. I'm trying to think. I'm supposed to got B Rose number. Did she email me? That's what I need to figure out. Anybody know how you do the DMs on here? I seen that you can DM on YouTube now, but I actually got a message on my other page, and I don't even know how I got it. Like, I don't know how to do it. And I'm doing good. I said I didn't want to stop for 3 hours unless it was an extreme emergency, and then I turned around and had an emergency. All right, we're going towards Florence, y'all. We getting there. I'm so excited. It's like the closer I get, it seems like the longer it's taking. Like I'm getting closer, and I feel like the time ain't went nowhere. I actually am halfway there right now. Literally halfway there. Maybe a little over half. That's cool. I'm not looking forward to this heat. It's going like 100 degrees every day I'm here. That's ridiculous. It's like a few degrees more than what I just left, but I know South Carolina heat is different. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've had a good time talking to y'all. I appreciate everybody for coming through and keeping me company for a little while. I've been listening to this little radio drama series. I'm gonna go back to listening to that for a little while, get this last little leg out the way, contemplating if I'm gonna stop at Buc-ee's on the way here or on the way back. That's my biggest thing right now. I'm going to Buc-ee's. But anyhow, I enjoyed speaking with y'all today. You know, I love you with the love of the Lord. I love you with all my heart. Even if I ain't never met you before, I can love you. I will continue to do so. Y'all keep me in your prayers. I will keep all of y'all in my prayers. And I will definitely I'm working on getting back. Trust me. I'm gonna get back to being on here a little more. Because I do enjoy coming on and, doing my lives. That's part of me. So I know I say it every time, but I'm gonna say it until it happens, right? Until then, guys, I love you. Stay safe, and I'll make a post and let everybody know I made it. All right, all right. Bye.